Alright, you guys, what's Gucci? It's your boy ssjk-dots, the first by Super Saiyan World 500 and I'm back here with another video. This is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania spoiler-free review. First things first, let's get this out the way. I think this movie is okay, average at best. I can agree that the critics went kind of hard on this movie. It's definitely more entertaining than what Mid Forever, that boring movie. I probably do not want to ever see this movie again, but on a first watch, not bad. It was okay. It was actually okay. I'm gonna just get my likes out the way. First things first, Jonathan Majors as Kang. I think he was the best actor in the movie overall. He just has a Jonathan Majors, how he carries himself as an actor and how he came off as Kang the Conqueror, the Kang we're going to see and deal with the most. He just had this very calm and collected, personality about him this whole movie. There was parts of the movie where he he got unhinged and he got mad and stuff. And that's where I'm going to get into my issues later. But as far as how he portrayed himself as Kang, I thought he was hidden. His suit was dope. I like this suit as Kang. This shit was tight. Some visibility's kind of cool, but I'll get into that with my dislikes. But as far as his ability, what they show off rip is that this guy is technology dependent. You know, without his technology, I mean, he's nothing more than just a man, but he's very technology dependent. So just know this type of villain we're dealing with is not no real, magic based individual, but a very scientific villain. Not like Thanos, who's more based in power and, magical stuff like the Infinity Stones and all that. Scott Lang. Scott Lang to me was not as bad as the second movie. I think in Ant-Man 2, Scott Lang regressed like hella bad. And he regressed to the point where he was just a walking, talking buffoon. And y'all know for the MCU movies, I hate the buffoon type of characters, the Guardians, Thor, and many more. But basic characters act like complete imbecile buffoons. I don't think Scott Lang is that anymore. Still, I'm not in love with the dude's character. It's like, alright, you're doing enough just to get by for me. But as far as his character goes in this movie, I did like the fact that, he was being a father of this movie, being very protective of his daughter. I like that his daughter was encouraging him to, be a hero because, Scott was getting in, and honestly, when you watch this movie, Scott is he's not letting it go to his head, but he's too laxed, with his book he wrote. And everything, he's more soaked up into the fame, and he's kind of like, he's on call, he's on standby. So, if the Avengers do need help, he'll show up. But like, as far as like, okay, there's a robbery taking place, I mean, it's a chance he might go stop it, but will he really? Or will he say like, oh, I'm gonna just leave it up to the police? That type of thing. But Scott was not a complete imbecile. But when I get to my dislikes, I'll bring up, for this movie, Scott Lang versus Kang, that matchup, no, I'm sorry. But as far as his character goes, I thought he was fine. Wasp, Hope. Hope, she was okay in this movie. I mean, she wasn't in this movie. She was kind of a little bit more in the background. I mean, she still did her thing when it came to the action. I mean, she didn't do nothing bad or nothing. I mean, her character is definitely developed in a way where she is taking up new responsibilities. I'm not going to spoil what those responsibilities are, but she has stepped up. But she was kind of more in the background. So was Hank, but Hank offered something later in the movie to help them defeat Kang, but I'm not going to spoil that. So at least he had something a little bit more to him. Hope was just, Hope was just more like, Hope reminded me of Neytiri from Avatar 2. She was there, she was badass, she was doing her thing, but she just didn't, say much or do much, but she was there, she was doing her thing. She still did her thing, she supported Scott when he needed it. Janet, Hank Pym's wife, she was cool. Janet was cool though. Yeah, you got Janet was cool. They gave, they went deep into Janet and Kang's backstory. of how Janet met Kang in the quantum realm. And we don't know. He was probably clapping her cheeks too. Who knows? It was 30 years. Kang was probably clapping the mess out them cheeks. I know he was. But I thought Janet was fine. Janet was fine. As far as acting goes, Janet and Jonathan, as far as when it came to acting, stole the show. I say Scott, when you have to see Scott Lang turn up in the third act and, show some aggression, I would say that's when Paul Rudd, as an actor, he started like elevating just a little bit and showing me a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Not too much, but nothing better than what Janet and Kang had going on in this movie when it came to the acting that got you really invested. Now, Ant-Man is also a comedy. Oh yeah, last character, MODOK. Trash. MODOK was trash. I'm talking about visual. I'm talking about like this nigga was legit trash. And what they did to MODOK, and that's when I get to my bigger issues, and we're gonna get into that. But MODOK was trash, and they wasted that nigga. They wasted MODOK. Same way they wasted Ultron. That's all I'll say. And many other villains that could be, I'll get to that soon. The comedy in this movie. For me, the only funny thing in this movie was that blob thingy. While annoying at times, the blob thingy was probably the only funny thing. There was a lot of unnecessary jokes in places that weren't needed, and wasn't jokes in places where jokes was needed. Right? Like, okay, there's like probably 3 scenes in this movie where they're in a big like battle war sequence. And every MC movie does this, and even a lot of movies nowadays do this, and it's so annoying, where characters are fighting on a battlefield, and there's all this destruction and death all around them, and then these idiots just like randomly start bantering, just like a Thor and Cap from Infinity War, where Thor's like, "Oh, you copied my beard."
Okay, how much for the arm? Oh, I'll get that arm.
Your haircut? Notice you've copied my beard. Oh, by the way, this is a friend of mine, Tree.
I am Groot!
I am Steve Rogers.
And people are dying. Like, nigga, what the fuck? And then for some reason, like, nobody is attacking them. They can have a full-on conversation. Nobody's attacking them. It kills immersion of the battle that's going on. Even in Endgame, like Tony and Peter over there hugged up on each other and stuff. I'm like, bruh, yeah, niggas dying. Do this shit later. The fuck out of here with this hugging and shit. Do this shit later. Y'all in a war. There's one thing I appreciate about a movie like, I don't know, Zack Snyder's Justice League or something, where when the characters went to war, they went to war. That banter shit, all that shit was gone, cause nigga, we in war. Like, do all that comedy, joke shit outside of these moments where it's supposed to get intense. I get it. It's an Ant-Man movie and a comedy movie, but the comedy in this comedy movie wasn't even that funny. I'm gonna keep it a bean. It was not that funny. That comedy was weak. The Blob was the funniest thing about this movie, but he was barely in the movie. He's probably in the movie for like, I think maybe 4 or 3 scenes. He's barely in the movie. But as far as the action goes in this movie, I did like some of it. I did like the action in the third act just a little bit. Well, the fights between, obviously Scott and our main villain, Kang. Some of it was kind of interesting, a little cool. A little too short, but made sense for the villain that was fighting. That's why I'm gonna get into my issues with Kang's power level. So as you see in the trailer, Kang says to Scott, I've killed Avengers before. He's killed some Hulks, some Thors. He probably killed some, and even other members we have not seen yet. But he killed multiple. He probably killed some X-Men too, because he's been through different universes. So who knows what he has killed? But he has definitely killed some Thors. Thor's a very powerful being, very powerful. And if you can kill a Thor, why you struggling against an Ant-Man, my nigga? An Ant-Man of all things. That's one of my problem with. That's why I say this was not a good pairing, because ain't no way Kang should be struggling with this nigga Scott Lang, especially Scott Lang. This was Hank Pym in a suit. I mean, you got a more formidable foe, but Scott Lang, Fuck out of here with that shit. Nah. So I wasn't messing with how they was utilizing Kang's power level. And it's, look, I'm gonna just say this. Thanos in Infinity War, he came harder than what Kang was. You guys, I'm not saying Kang is bad or anything, but this specific one, he ain't Thanos in Infinity War. Thanos in Infinity War came out the gates taking lives. Kang, nah. None of that was present. Dude was making threats, not following up on them threats. I'm like, come on, bro. You supposed to be the next big bad villain for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, you look cool and all, but you supposed to be the next big bad, and you ain't delivering on your promises. Come on, bro. Come on. You the next big upcoming big bad. But you guys, overall, I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I thought it was okay. The writing of the movie, it's all right. They explain and gloss over a whole bunch of stuff. Overall, the movie was okay. I thought the movie was okay. It was fine. It was fine. This is just another run-of-the-mill Ant-Man movie with a villain that is so much better than the hero in this movie. And you know, it's okay. Passing. And I forgot to say this about Cassie. Cassie, she was cool in the movie. She was not annoying to me. She was not annoying. That's the one thing I did like about the character. She was not annoying. Because she was, and I did agree with her, she was pushing Scott, yo, be a hero. Like, be a hero. Do your thing, Dad. You know, you're supposed to be a hero. And she was heavily disappointed, and she had the right to be like, bro. And even I was disappointed. Like, I don't even live in this world. And I'm like, bruh, you supposed to be a hero, bro. We look up to you. Like, people look up to you, and you finally in this new role and stuff. Go be a hero, man. Go do that shit. I understand you want to chill and, you know, be with your daughter and stuff, which you can do, but you can still be a hero. You can still step up and you know, have people follow behind you. Some people need heroes in their lives to follow behind, and Scott wasn't trying to be that as much, but in this film he's going to get pushed back into that, and his daughter is going to be the main reason for it, because she does take initiative and do stuff without his permission, which ends up having to force him to do something that he doesn't really want to do. So yeah, you guys, I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was fine. Would I say, guys, go to the theaters and watch this? I mean, you watch it however you want to. I'm gonna just say this: I didn't go to the theaters. Yeah, I saved me $30. Well, IMAX, but I saved me some money. That's all I'll say. I saved me some money. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. Go to that peace, love, positivity, and all that jazz. Don't do drugs, and like I always say, doses.
What did you do? What did you do?